Isn't it so weird how you can remember a face you saw like one time years ago, but you totally forget the name of someone you just met? Well, it happens to all of us, and today we're going to get into the super fascinating reason why our brains do this. Okay, you know the moment. You run into someone you know, they smile, they say your name, and your brain just hits a brick wall. Total blank. You know them, but their name has just poof, vanished. It is the absolute worst feeling, right? And then what follows is like 12 seconds of pure internal chaos. You're just smiling and nodding. Maybe you hit them with a classic, "Hey, you," while your brain is just frantically flipping through files and coming up with nothing. We have all been there. But wait till you hear this. That super awkward brain glitch isn't just you being bad with names. Nope, it's a real, actual psychological thing with a name. And it means your brain is working exactly the way it's supposed to. It's called the Baker-Baker paradox. Okay, this is so cool. The paradox says you are way more likely to remember that a person is a baker for a living than to remember that their last name is Baker. It's the same exact word, but our brains treat them in two completely different ways. So the big question is, why? Why does one baker stick in your brain like glue while the other just floats away? You won't believe how simple the answer is. It all comes down to how our brains link things together. Let's break it down. When your brain hears the word baker, it processes the job and the name in totally separate ways. See, one is this rich idea full of connections, and the other one, well, it's just kind of empty. When you hear someone is a baker, the job, your brain just lights up. It immediately starts pulling up all these associations. You might think of the amazing smell of fresh bread, the warmth from an oven, a big poofy hat, maybe flour getting everywhere. You see, the word baker as a job isn't just a word. It's a whole story. It's a network of images and smells and feelings. And our brains absolutely love stories. They're like little hooks that make memories easy to grab onto. Okay, but now let's flip it. What happens when you hear the name Mr. Baker? Does your brain start telling you a story? Do you smell fresh bread? Probably not, right? That's because a name all by itself is basically an empty, rootless label. It's just a random sound that has zero connections to anything you already know. It doesn't link to your senses or your memories. It's just a single piece of information floating all alone. And this one tiny difference, having connections versus having none, it literally changes everything for your memory. This is the secret key to why you remember one baker and completely forget the other. So here it is. This is the most important thing you need to hear. Are you ready? You do not have a memory problem. Seriously, let that sink in. Forgetting someone's name is not a personal failure. What you have is an associative mind. Your brain is this incredible, super powerful connection-making machine. It was never designed to remember random, isolated facts. It's designed to weave everything together. This means your brain is always looking for things it can connect to. It loves real stuff, things you can see and feel. It pays attention to emotions, to relationships between ideas, and, you guessed it, to stories. A random name with no story? Yeah, that goes straight to the bottom of the list. So the next time you forget a name, don't get down on yourself. Just remember that your brain is trying to do its job. It's looking for a connection, a little story it can hold on to. This isn't a flaw in your system. It's the main feature. And that leaves us with one last thing to think about. If your brain is wired for stories and not for random data, then forgetting a name isn't a weakness at all, is it? It's actually a hint about where its real power is. So what's your brain's superpower?